It's a poison. That doesn't help the stress level. No, don't do it. Get a grip. This stupid video I just showed you. I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show. It's donkey. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. Don't do this to me, Harry. The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean, see? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. I got to tell you, interesting. There's just an interesting vibe around this week. Really interesting vibe. You got some people that are kind of bought back in, want to be bought back in. And then you have other people that I think are still pretty hot about how the season started. And it's like, let's wait and see. But really interesting vibe. I think that Arkansas game, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. I think that Arkansas game was that tipping point of like Purdue's Purdue, but that Arkansas game going against that offense at their place with our defense entering it, that was a big like fulcrum turning point of, can you keep this thing on the tracks and give yourself a shot? Or you get burned by Arkansas. Now you have 3 losses in 4 games and you're going down to 5-6 losses. Like you're going to have a bad year. I feel like that was a turning point. So then you got that one. Now you're on a little bit of a winning streak. And the way I see this is it's all like coming together to me in my mind, how I'm visualizing things from here on out. And the way I see it is, you have a 3-game season here to determine if you're going to be in position to make that 10-2 run in the back half of the year. And then do a lot of scoreboard watching and see what happens and see if there's, if there's 3-loss SEC and Big Ten teams that are going to get in above you or whatever. Like when you lose the first 2 games, I don't really know if you get to complain about anything. Like you put yourself in a bad position, and I don't know. So the way I see it is, you have 3 unique challenges here before the second bye off week. And you have the Boise, I call them the big brand beaters. That's how they made their name. That's how if you're my age, they came on the scene in that 07 Fiesta Bowl win over Oklahoma. I remember that being a big deal. It's one of the few games from that long ago that Notre Dame's not involved in that I remember the details of. That tells me it was kind of a big deal when it happened, with the trick plays to win the game and everything, and little Boise beating Oklahoma and all this stuff. Like, so you have the unique Boise setup, of which they don't care coming to Notre Dame Stadium. There is absolutely no, like, that's a team that looks forward to going somewhere and beating somebody they ain't supposed to beat. Like, that is their DNA as a program. They're not going to have any fear coming into South Bend. And that is what it is. NC State is you know what I give NC State for? 312-988-15. Dialed up. If you have anything you heard and seen, feel free to dial it up. Tell Johnny Boy about it. NC State, I give credit for, because they know they don't have the athletes to match a lot of the better teams they play. But they muddy up the game as much as you can. They just try and make it a slugfest, an ugly game, just a in-the-mud type battle, whatever. I give them credit for that. They have a unique way of like trying to muddy up a football game to try and offset some of that talent. And I think they do a pretty good job of that. And then you have USC. And USC is a team that Notre Dame should be able to attack offensively very well. And then it's a matter of, are you going to be able to slow down their offense enough and that passing game enough? And it's interesting, they lost to Illinois in Champaign, the trappiest game of all time that can't be a trap. 9 a.m. LA time in sleepy Champaign. Like, it was the trappiest trap that's ever trapped. And then they have Michigan. I think going to LA, they have Michigan going to LA, and then you have Notre Dame. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see. Are they in position with one loss and then Notre Dame, or does Michigan get them in LA and then they have a couple losses, you have a couple losses, and some of the shine is off that game, but you also feel like if you win it, you then hit the bye and you have a whole bunch of very winnable games for Notre Dame on the back end. It's just, this is all setting up really, really interesting. And so I want to know, there's nothing more of a trap game than 11 a.m. in Evanston. Jay Carr, I got to tell you, man, one of the coolest feelings for me when I lived in Evanston, right across from the football stadium on Central Street there, right by Mustard's Last Stand, the famous little hot dog joint that's right in their parking lot. I live right across the street, right at the entrance of that stadium. Man, I'm telling you what, it was so fun on a Saturday fall morning to have the windows open, and I wake up to the hustle and bustle of nothing happening because it's Northwestern at an 11 a.m. game. Like, I don't know what he wants to do, but it's just like they have these 11 a.m. home games. And I wake up and I'm like looking out my window and whatever, and there's the only time, I've said it before and I'll say it again, interesting social experiment, being a Notre Dame guy living across from Northwestern Stadium for 6 years or whatever it was. Literally, the only time there was any juice was if the opposing team brought it to Evanston. Like Ohio State people, Penn State people, Iowa people, whatever, Michigan coming to town. Like, the only time there was any juice for a Northwestern home game was if the opposing team brought it. And I'd go out on Friday nights, hit the bars at Evanston, and it'd be fun, and it'd be full of people in Iowa stuff, partying because they're in Chicago for the weekend for the game. It was never the Northwestern people. There was no juice. There was no juice. And there was the time that Buckeye nut, the old guy that paints his face, was making my little patio there his own little tailgate setup. And I yelled at him out of my window with some harsh words. Harsh words I yelled to that guy out of my window about getting off my property. This ain't your tailgate on my little patio here. Get out. So that was the only time that it's ever been fun, was when the other team brought the juice to Evanston. Now, here's the other trick I did. 312-900-8815. If you call, you will be heard and seen. Here's the other trick I did. Yeah, I tailgated with Bucknut. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to deal with that. There's something weird about a grown man walking around like that, getting that attention. Any grown man that's face painting and it isn't Halloween, I got a question about. John Wayne Gacy. I'm telling you, any grown man that's painting his face when it isn't Halloween, you're on the list, buddy. I'm watching you. I'm looking at your internet searches. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. So here's what I would do. This is awesome. This was before I did content, right? This was way before I did content. So all I had to do is drink beer, watch a Notre Dame game and stress out, and then call in to check topic on the ESPN postgame show in Chicago and yell about the offensive line. That's all I had to do. And so, yeah, show us your face. You want to see your painted face. Creepy. You cannot trust an adult who paints their face other than on Halloween. You can't trust them. They're on the list. It's just a rule, bro. It's just a rule. Here's what I did. This was the best setup ever. Northwestern season tickets went for like $80 back then. It was like $100 or something. You could get a ticket for every home game Northwestern had. And I'm looking, even back then, Notre Dame tickets were more than that for one good game. You got to remember, this is back like 08, 09, somewhere in there, 10, 11, somewhere in there. And it's like, you could get season tickets for like $100 or something. So I would get season tickets to Northwestern. And when they would have an 11 a.m. game against a team I wanted to see, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, something exciting, I would go over across the street, go into their game, watch like the first half or whatever. And then when it got close to Notre Dame's 2:30 kickoff, I'd jump right across the street, go into my place, turn it on. It was amazing. I got to see some good Big Ten football and then jump right across the road and tune in for Notre Dame. So that used to be my little routine for those 11 a.m. home game windows. If it was somebody interesting and no driving, no traffic, no parking, no nothing. Walk across the street, go in there. Then when you leave the game early to go watch our game, you hit up Mustard's Last Stand, get yourself a burger, a hot dog, and fries or whatever, and then you're set for the game. That used to be it. That used to be my little routine, and it was a good one. All right, we got sidetracked here. So let's do the interaction, the introduction. You guys have some really juicy chats, and then anybody that wants to call, we'll take your calls. We'll see what you think. Andrew, yeah, yeah, I'll get to that. So as always, thanks for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny out as well. Notifications on, that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Shake. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you could get it. If you don't want to see my face, everybody understands why. How do you think I feel? Call in lines, you know them. 312-900-8815. You dialed up. Tell Uncle Yanni all you've heard and seen. Notre Dame on SI. Read all about it. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Promo code CARR. CARR. Type in the promo. Half off. You'll be able to see. You'll be able to get all the film breakdowns, everything we're doing back there. Great team. Link in description. Thanks to everybody who's there. We've been growing a lot this year. Appreciate the support. John, did you enjoy us winning the Ryder Cup? Us? Are you European? We didn't. What do you mean we didn't win? It says, did you enjoy us winning? And your name is Philly. What are you, a Philly guy that's from Europe? I don't understand, because the Americans did not win. I don't get it. I don't get it. So here's the deal, man. This is my theory on the Ryder Cup. And I got to give America credit for fighting back the last day, but they were so far behind. You just can't enter that one-on-one play on Sunday that far behind. You can't. It's kind of like losing your first two games and trying to back into the playoff. Like you're backed up against it. You had to almost win every one of those matches to end up winning. This is my theory. I have long thought that the Americans are spoiled now. Okay, you're from Ireland and a Philly Eagles fan. There you go. Okay, so you got the answer. Good for Shane Lowry finishing it off, the Irishman. I like seeing that pressure putt. Good job. Here's my thought. I think these modern American golfers are spoiled with a silver spoon in their mouth from the time they could walk. They're on private country clubs. They got money. They have good coaches, good support. They got all these deals for clubs and clothes and cars and watches and everything else. My opinion is, I think the American golfers are spoiled and the Europeans have it a little rougher as far as playing tough courses, not having all the modern comforts of everything, not everybody coming from money and having a coach from the time they could walk, and dad could spend every amount of money you need to help you get where you want to be and all that. The weather, the courses you grow up playing in Europe, it's not as cushy. And I think you see some of that ruggedness come out in the Ryder Cup. I do. I think that's a real thing. I just think the Americans are a little too spoiled for most of their lives now. Remember in the 60s, these guys, if you didn't win tournaments, you were selling cars in the offseason. Literally. If you didn't win enough tournaments, you were a used car salesman in the offseason of the PGA Tour. Now, everybody's rich. Everybody's famous. It's a good old boy country club. Everybody likes seeing everybody else win in America. They're all buddy-buddy. Everyone's rich. There's no pressure to win because everyone's rich. You got to really have that dog in you to want to win a bunch of majors and do it. You got to have that drive. Everybody's got it made now. It's a cushy life. You don't have to win to be rich anymore. So that's my thought. And I just think the Europeans have that little edge when it comes to the Ryder Cup of being able to adapt to some rougher circumstances and handle it. So I don't know. That's the same problem every pro sport has. Yeah, but Suds, here's the difference. Golf has always been different because it's just you. That's always the difference. It isn't a team thing where you could be like, I'm the best player, but all my teammates suck. What do you want me to do? Golf has always been, you got to perform or you're not getting paid. You don't make the cut, you don't get any money week to week, right? Like that individual thing is what has always made golf different. And so I don't know. It's and once the live thing happened, golf lost a lot of momentum. It pulled the curtain back on the money and the greed and the division. I'm serious. When that live split happened, golf lost a lot of momentum. It just let everybody see just how sick the money is and everything and guaranteed money. It was frustrating and disappointing. And the U.S. players are bored with the Ryder Cup. I don't know how you could possibly be bored with the Ryder Cup. It's the most intense environment I've ever been in for golf. I don't know how you could possibly be bored because I went to it and it had the excitement of a football game at Medina in 2012. I mean, it was intense. So I don't know, but it's a great event and a lot of pressure. And what the other thing you learn is there's a lot of guys that could do good in their own world week to week alone with their caddy, whatever. You get them in this team dynamic. You get them with this different kind of setup and pressure. Some guys that are great when it's just them on a regular Saturday, it changes in the Ryder Cup. I like it a lot, but they got so far behind early, there was nowhere to go. Okay. So let's do a couple super chats, then we'll go to the calls. If you want to call, you could get in, feel free. 312-900-8815. The computer model says ND 40, Boise State 21. When I started writing articles about all this, I thought the spread was 17.5 for Notre Dame, and apparently it's risen all the way to 20. I don't know if people think that is too much. I don't know if people think that's just about right. But it moved up. I thought it was 17.5, and then I saw that it moved up to 20 or whatever. How about Ireland rugby? Here's the problem with rugby. I don't understand the rules, bro. I don't understand the rules of rugby. You ever have one of them channels on the weekend where like you were watching something or you just had it on and then it ends up being like they have soccer or rugby on? And I've watched soccer or rugby for a while. I don't understand the rules. There's like this scrum and then they beat the crap out of each other and then they're running and then you kick it through the field goal thing at an angle and you get a point. Somebody explain it to me. I don't understand the rules of when you can run with the ball or when you got to bounce it and then they kick it. The thing's shaped weird. I don't understand the rules, bro. I'm just watching it like this is kind of neat, but I don't understand what's happening. And so I don't know. Our offense is nasty. Yeah. So here's where cricket. Yeah, I don't understand the cricket thing either. Is that where you bounce the pitch and then you hit it with that paddle? Is that, yeah, I think that's cricket. I don't know, man. That's all you need to know. Yeah, it was weird seeing them how they kick it through the extra goalpost thingy. I don't know, man. I just like seeing them go out there and beat each other up. Gaelic football is different than rugby too, and seemingly nuts. Yeah, I don't know, man. All the guys I know in college have played rugby had a screw loose. I'm serious. Every guy I know from college that was involved with rugby had a screw loose. They you know what I'm talking about? Those guys that love the pain, love to be hit, love to hit. Like they start bleeding and they like it. You know what I'm saying, bro? Everybody I had in college that did rugby, either on like the club team or whatever, bro, they had a screw loose. They're the guys at every party just smashing beers on like beer bottles on their head and chugging everything and flipping cars over at 2 a.m. Like, I'm just telling you, every guy friend I had that played rugby was like, look out. And then there's the whole phenomenon of the female rugby girls. That's a whole different culture too. They have like the rugby house, you know what I mean? And it's the girls' rugby team. Bro, I'm telling you, I ain't stealing a beer out of their fridge. You want to get my legs broke. Them are some rough girls in that rugby house. Like, I ain't going. I'm not going in there, and I'm not going in there and stealing a loose beer out of that place. I mean, it's just, you got to have a different brain for that rugby. You got to have a different brain for that. Dr. John, it's good to see you here, buddy. It's good to see you here. Okay. So here's where I'm at. I'm just going to drop this real quick. You have really good chats. Let the calls pile up, and then we'll get to them. I feel like for the first time since the build-up to Miami, I'm excited to watch Notre Dame take the field again. Not totally nervous, kind of. I want to look, but I don't want to look because I'm waiting for something bad to happen. That's how I was for Purdue. That's how I was at Arkansas. Like, you kind of want to watch, but you're scared of what you're going to see. They did enough against Arkansas that I'm genuinely excited to see Notre Dame take the field again. Andrew, heading to Wrigley today for the Cubs Padres. I will be the only person at Padres gear. Yeah, that's for damn sure. I think it cooled off today. But, man, yesterday's afternoon game at Wrigley, not a cloud in the sky. Playoff baseball, like, that's heaven if you're a Cubs fan. So I was happy for my friends and family that were there for that. Just because it's playoff baseball, perfect warm day. That's your dream, right? So, Andrew, have fun, buddy. Yeah, I forgot you were from San Diego. We'll see what happens. And I think my old good pitcher pitching for you guys, Andrew, Dylan Cease, my favorite guy that the Sox couldn't do anything with. I think he's on the mound for you. I'm excited to see that. Anyways, here's where I'm at. I'm excited to see Notre Dame play football again. I am excited to see them play again. They did enough for me to earn the chain back against Arkansas, and I'm ready to see what they can do. Now, here's what I'm also going to say, because I see some of these in the chat, and it is fair, but I have an answer for you. A lot of people are saying, you know what? Arkansas had one foot in the grave. They were ready to give up. They were ready to fire their coach. Like, they had no will to exist anymore as a program. And like, they quit. And I don't know how much credit we're going to give Notre Dame for what they did, because that team didn't want to play anymore and they quit and all this stuff, right? Fine. Like, we could bake that into the cake that they had one foot in the grave and all the rumors about their head coach and their OC and all the drama. Fine. But I think it's important for Notre Dame to gain confidence. And some of it, I always say, it isn't always just who you play, but when you play them. Take, I don't know, the Miami game, for example, right? Like, it's not always just who you play, but when. And you hit Arkansas when they're down and ready to be out or whatever. And like, those are the breaks. That's the way it is. And you took advantage and you put the final nail in the coffin and you made them quit. And like, so even if they're not a good team and they didn't want to be there and we're ready for it all to end, you still had to go in there and force that. And you gain confidence from that. The offense and CJ Carr gained confidence from that. God knows the defense needed any sort of positive momentum or confidence they could get. And they should all have a little pep in their step, that they played a little better and held the team down in points and looked more like the score output we expect from a Notre Dame defense. You don't think those defensive players knew all of us were talking crap about him, mad and frustrated, saying they sucked for a few weeks? They know, and I'm not saying they log in here and watch me. I'm just saying they know the vibe. They knew what the narrative was. And you needed to gain confidence. You needed to gain confidence. And the other thing, listen, I understand Arkansas missed some early opportunities. They could have picked off Carr one or two times, and one of them could have been a pick six early, I think. When Notre Dame's on defense, there were some early drops and some big opportunities missed by Arkansas. So what? Like, take it. Take it. Be glad that they didn't hit him. Be glad that they were out of sync and they dropped the passes. The quarterback didn't make the right read. Whatever it is, man. You needed to build confidence as the defense, and they did. And I think that momentum matters. I think it matters. So I am hesitantly excited to see Notre Dame take the field. And I got two questions. Number one is, can the Notre Dame offense continue its ascension? Can you continue kicking the crap out of teams you play? Can you keep running the ball and throwing the ball? Can you keep having that balance and be effective with it? So I just, that's the question. And here's the other thing too. This is in the back of my mind. The CJ Carr rookie moment game. Maybe it was Miami and it's done and out of the way, but it would be rare for CJ Carr from the Miami game on to just go up. And every week he just looks better, more comfortable, making better decisions, just up. And every game we play, he just gets better. That would be rare. That would be very rare. You got to hope you don't have a game where he levels off or has a down off game, and then the defense is up to their ashy tricks. And before you know it, you lose a dumb game here. Okay, so that's what you got to really look at is not having that drop back game if you're CJ Carr with some regression there. You got to look at that. Okay, you got to look at that. And why is my phone beeping? Nobody's calling me, but I heard a beep. I think I'm being tapped by the feds again. So that's the question offensively. Can you maintain that momentum and the balance? The balance is the biggest difference here, you guys. Finally having a Notre Dame team that can run it and throw it. I absolutely love it. It's the missing ingredient we've been begging for the offense. That a defense cannot just sell out, stop the run, and then on 3rd and 8, guard the tight end over the middle and then get off the field. You got to pick your poison. And if it's a light box, Price and Love are going to pound it. And if you bring people, Carr's going to pick you apart. I love it. And then on defense, can you just get a little better? Can you get better? Like, like that's the bar. Can you take what you did the second half against Purdue for the most part, and then what you did against Arkansas and build off it? Like, it's really that simple. And you could say that's a low bar and it's too low of a bar. We should have a higher bar. Fine, but that's kind of where we're at. Can they just keep getting better, look more comfortable, eliminate those big, ugly chunk plays? Like the big, huge gaffes where it's a 60-yard game. Can you eliminate all that? Can you tighten up the run defense a little bit? If you're playing those soft zones, can you at least have one of our defenders in the TV screen while they're throwing to a wide open guy? And by the way, tell me, I'm going to the calls. Tell me if I'm wrong. Was Chris Ash not supposed to talk to the media? Am I dreaming? I thought I was yelling last week about why don't we talk to the coordinators? Somebody said, hey, dummy, Denbrock just had a little media scrum. What are you talking about? I said, well, yeah, it's fine for Denbrock, but I want Ash up there answering some tough questions. Where's he at? And then I heard, oh, well, yeah, Denbrock's this week. You're supposed to talk to Ash next week or whatever. Did that happen? Did I miss it? Where is Chris Ash answering some tough questions? Did I miss it? So I just I thought it was supposed to be yesterday or something. Oh, media availability, whatever. Don't be playing these games. You know we're going to ask tough questions. Suddenly the media availability changes. Come on, man. Come on, man. You can't do that. Dr. John, you're killing me here. You couldn't make it to Purdue. I'm having a big combined tailgate with the Notre Dame Alumni Club of Orange County in the quad with the DJ and catered Portillo's and an open bar, and you ain't coming to that one either. Son of a buck, Doc. Son of a buck. I want to see Dr. John out there cutting a rug with the DJ. Get low, get low. I want to see Dr. John get low out there on the dance floor, cutting a rug. What are we doing? Anyways. Any Notre Dame people coming to the USC game, I got the tailgate, baby. All you got to do, 369, Dr. John Fine, getting down one more time. Get low, get low, get low. Anyways, anybody coming to that game, I got the party for you. So you just come, and if there's a security guard at the entrance, you just say, I'm with Always Irish. And they say, come on in, get yourself an Italian beefs, a drink, and cut some rugs. Anyways, that's what I'm at. Those are my two questions, you guys. Can the Notre Dame offense continue to ascend and look this good? Phil says, I'm bringing a lot of people to the U.S. Yeah, bring it, man. Everybody's invited. We want as many people as possible. It's free for all the Always Irish people. Free. You can't beat that price. Free. Can the offense continue to improve in its ascension? Where it's at, it's in one of the quads. I'm doing promos. Mark with Glasses is helping me make these promos. It's going to be in the quad. It isn't in a parking lot. It's going to be one of those set up big tents that's in a quad. So it's a totally different setup. It's not in a parking lot. You got to find and worry. It's going to be a big private tent in one of the quads by Touchdown Jesus. And then I'll have my flag there so you know where it is. And they'll have their logo up too, but I'll have my flag there. Don't worry. I'll put out a map and promos for this so you'll be able to know. So that's what I want to see. Can you continue this ascension on offense and defense? Can you just continue to make incremental improvement? That's what I need you to do. That is the bar. Tailgate lawn east of the library. There you go. Mark knows where I'm going to be more than I know where I'm going to be. God, I love that man. So that's going to be the deal. Now, with Boise, you better respect them because they ain't going to be scared to come in here. You better respect them. So that's all I'm saying. Like, you better, I know they lost Ashton Genty, and that was what the engine that powered them to the playoff. You better respect this team. That's all I'm saying. I understand the spread. I understand what they lost, whatever. They like their quarterback. They like their O-line. I do think their defense, Notre Dame should be able to rack up a lot of yards and points on their defense. Notre Dame should be able to rack up a lot of, but anything, the games are played on a field and not on paper for a reason, man. All right. We got a decent amount of calls here. So I highlighted some chats. I'll do the super chats, take a couple calls, go back to the regular ones. I need to shut up and let you guys do your thing. Shut up and let you do your thing. $5 holler from the rotate. Online, so many people think the defense is fixed, even though they gave up almost 400 yards. It's still wait and see with the defense. But at least there are some confidence building blocks you could go off of from last week. And probably the second half of Purdue too, I guess. Although you still gave up some stuff I don't like. So, yeah, the defense isn't fixed, but you at least have a little momentum now. You got to feel better about where it is than, say, entering the Purdue game. I'm trying to enjoy my tailgate, and I'm out there stressing out. I don't appreciate it. All that weight I gained in the offseason, I'm melting it back off with this team. 12 to 15 pounds since the Miami loss, gone. All that work I did to build muscle, I stress it right out of my carcass. Stupid team. $5 holler from the werewolf. Ow! Do you guys believe in Dog Man? That's a YouTube rabbit hole I go down sometimes when I don't want to worry about the football. You ever go down that rabbit hole on YouTube, Dog Man encounters, and tell me what you think it is. A rabid wolf or like a human dog with claws running on 2 feet through the woods? I don't know what to believe. YouTube it. Listen to the stories. Tell me what you think. $5 holler for the wolf. Hey, James Franklin. Quit and call games. Be drunk at the bar 1 a.m. Mountain West. Look up, holler. We'll be fine. James Frankie. Whatever, man. You could not have had a better setup for Penn State. You had 3 warm-up games against high school teams, a bye, and then you hosted the biggest game of the year at your place at night with one of the best home crowd atmospheres you could possibly have. And you had your you lost that defensive player, but you had most of your team all coming back. This is going to be the year. It's all going to be different. And all summer, Penn State, number one. This is the year. Psych your mind, bro. Mentions James Franklin's big game record. Yeah, what is it? 4-21 against the Big Ten? You make Brian Kelly look like Lombardi. And then I got, wait and see with the Chris Ash defense. I even circled that one. Well, guess what? Your boy Johnny, he waited, he sawed, and he no likey. Son of a buck. $10 holler. Creatine monohydrate, John. That'll help you pack the pounds back on. Go Irish. Defensive improvement each week is what we need. Keep cranking that offense. Go Cubs, go. Baseball is dead to me. It's dead to me. John, Oregon is a great team. ND had the same problem against Miami, and even after a bye, they couldn't pull it together. That you cannot compare a first-time starting quarterback's performance in a big game to start the year in the first big game to what Drew Aller was supposed to be. I feel like he's been there 4 or 5 years. It was a whole different setup. Totally different thing. $10 a holler. Callahan Auto. Let's be real. Boise will score, but I don't think any defense holding this offense less than 30. I'm telling you, Notre Dame's starting to get some national recognition for that offense. I've been seeing some national people going, man, Notre Dame's onto something here. And here's the other thing, and then I'll go to the calls. Here's the other part of this. CJ, I don't want to get ahead of myself. 0 chance ND can beat Oregon. I agree with that right now. I probably agree with that for sure. I don't trust the defense. And I'd like to see how much we score against their defense, but I definitely don't trust our defense enough for that. CJ Carr is on the rise to be a top NFL draft pick if this continues. That means you're only going to have the guy as a starter 3 years. So, you need to think about that. If I'm just getting way ahead of myself, if he continues on the path he's on, he's out of here in 3 years, and this is one of them. So you got 2 more years to figure everything else out. Fire the DC, whatever you need to do. I don't know. Go to the portal and get a couple more Fieldses from the portal to throw to, whatever. If he's going to keep going up, that's your window. You got 2 more years of the guy. So you better figure out how to support that guy so that you can get where you want to go before he goes to them. And I know you're getting so far out of yourself, but if he continues on that track, he's a 3-year guy in NFL. So you better figure it out. It's possible he leaves after next year. Why? Because technically, even though he redshirted, he was in college last year. Whatever. I'm just telling you. Don't be sitting there getting all comfortable. We got all these years to make it all work with Carr. You better figure out that damn defense, and then you better go to the portal and figure out what you need. And if it's interior D linemen that are animals, pay them whatever they want. Go get another Malachi Fields times 2 out there to throw to. If that's your window, you better jump through it. If that's your window, you better throw everything at it. Carr being good, flip script on Notre Dame offensive recruiting. Big nose, big schnoz. I like this. That's the other thing. Look at how hard it's been for Notre Dame to recruit wide receivers that are elite. Look at how hard it's been for Notre Dame to attract elite wide receivers. Now you could go into these recruiting meetings and go, here you go. Here's the highlight tape. You want to raise your NFL draft stock? Look at this. You want to be a part of the offense and not out there fake blocking while we run the ball up the middle into a pile 3 downs in a row? Look at this. CJ Carr, zing, floater, zing. Look at this. Don't you want to be a part of this? If that doesn't help offensive recruiting, I don't know what will. It is the missing ingredient. Notre Dame having a guy that whips the ball around like that. Whip it around like that. Whip it. Yeah, you got to pay price. If you're going to lose love, then you just pay price enough to say you're our number one back, come back, whatever. And you pay the guy. And you just say you're the number one back. You don't have to do this 1A, 1B. You're the number one guy. Now, the pushback could be, why the hell do I want to take a heavy load and a beating when they always say running backs have a number of hits in them throughout a career? You always hear that. Running backs have a set number of hits you could absorb in your career, college, pro, whatever. So the argument against it would be, what if Price doesn't want to come back and be the only guy getting beat all the time up and all that? Like, I don't know how all that works. Give him money. Give him money. That doesn't hurt. 574, what's going on?
Morning, John. It sounds like you're already fired up in the morning.
Man, I wasn't planning on being, but I just sometimes once I get going, I get going. I got to tell you, man, I'm genuinely kind of excited to see Notre Dame take the field again. And that is not the feeling I had for Purdue or Arkansas. I was honestly waiting for something bad to happen and felt weird. Maybe I'm going to be burned by this, but I am excited to see Notre Dame play again. I am.
Well, we all are. I mean, when you have a team that has an offense this good, it's not only, better, I think, for us fans, but you got to think, if you're a season ticket holder, like you got to be more excited to see an explosive offense than a good defense.
Yeah, man, it's the one thing we've been missing in this program a while is being a passing threat when you need to be or want to be, and having a guy that can do all that. And it's just frustrating that once you have that, then you have defensive worries. It's just like, why can't we get everything to peak at the same time?
I think it all just comes down to timing. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, when we were this time a year ago, like we were scoring points, but the offense didn't look flashy. This year, it's flat. It's flash. It's great. There's not a player on this team you don't think cannot make a play on that offense. Every single person on that offense looks great, and that's development, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's definitely trending in the right direction. You know who's got to be loving this is Mike Denbrock, because he doesn't have limitations. He could genuinely draw up whatever he wants and keep defenses off balance. And you got those two stallion running backs with slightly different styles that are both very effective. And then you're able to throw the ball now too. It's really, really enjoyable to watch. And then also theoretically, that offensive line should continue to get better as well. I don't know, man. It's just, can the defense take the building blocks from Arkansas and improve on them? Or do you have more frustrating regression? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Although if I had to put my bottom dollar on anything for prediction for this weekend, is I would focus on trying to build your run defense this weekend, because that's what Boise State's going to try to do. They're going to try to control time possession to keep us away from having the ball.
You're absolutely correct. One of the more fun things that I've started doing this year is leading into every game, I spend a lot of time on the opponent's YouTube and articles, right? I seek out the opponent's side to try and see what they're saying heading into our games. They're all saying the same thing. Boise's they're going to have to try and run the ball and control the clock and pick your spots with some quick passes, whatever. But they're going to want to run the ball. They believe in their O-line, strength of the team. They want to see if they could do that and keep Notre Dame off the field. So Notre Dame's run defense, let's see what you got.
Yeah, and I know that they've been struggling for the last few weeks. So this is a real test to show like how good can we actually improve on that, because that's going to be the pivotal point of this game, is making sure if we can keep them in long third down situations and force them to throw the ball.
Yeah. Yep. It's and again, there's something about the Boise DNA. I'm always going to respect the way they play against big brands and all that. Like it's just maybe that 07 Fiesta Bowl is burned into my mind, but like I am going to respect them, and you got to just go play good football.
You do. But I will say this, if we were not already had 2 losses this game would have maybe worried me a little bit, because we might have not taken them as seriously. I think because we had those 2 losses, I think that this team has got a focus of we cannot afford to lose a game, and we don't care who the opponent is. We're going to treat them as if they're a playoff team.
Yeah, you kind of have to. One last question for you. Is your heat on Ash cooled a little bit, or are you still very, very suspicious? Wait and see. I don't trust anything. This is a game-to-game thing with you, or have you started to like lighten up a little bit? Like, okay, they're coming around. Where do you fall on the defense right now?
I fall that if there's a better candidate, you hire them and fire Ash. What I saw at the beginning of this year, that was his coaching. That was his play calling. It didn't work. It did not do anything.
That's an understatement.
I am going to literally burn this into everybody's mind. If you think at the end of this year, even if we make the playoffs, that Chris Ash should still keep his job, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. We're gonna see. I put a video on Patreon yesterday just saying, what would Ash have to do for you to not want him fired at the end of the year, and then you start over and do something else? Like, it's just really interesting to me. Like, I wonder what it would take. Like, if you don't lose another regular season game and the defense tightens up, do people forgive it? I don't know. Or was it just too bad from the start? I don't know.
My opinions never changed. I think that at the end of this year, make or not make the playoffs, I think we let Ash go and just promote Mickens.
Yeah, that is definitely an angle you could go. That I don't know. We'll have to see how the rest of the year turns out. Hey, man, thanks for calling on a Wednesday. Enjoy your day.
Oh, you as well. Thank you.
Have a good one, buddy. How much time you got, buddy? I'm going to do a chat, and then 202 looks like a first-time caller. And I always like getting first-time callers in here. So SPF, people are giving SPF a hard time about Kelly losing to Lane Kiffin. And then one of our people said to SPF, oh yeah, have fun in the Music City Bowl or whatever. And then he's saying, and then SPF saying, well, what bowl do you guys think you're going to? Maybe the Music City Bowl. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Like, you'll be in a bad spot, bro. Maybe the Music City Bowl. Maybe the Tony the Tiger Bowl. I don't know. I don't know, man. And the back half of LSU schedule it's really interesting. Like, you have a Vanderbilt on that schedule where you're like, oh, it's Vanderbilt, whatever. I don't know about that. And the other thing I've learned about LSU's defense is they struggle with mobile quarterbacks. So you got A&M on there, you got Alabama on there, you got Vandy on there, and LSU struggles with mobile quarterbacks, and they're going to face a few of them on the back half of that schedule. And their offense, something's just not clicking with that offense. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but I'll tell you this right now. I got my own damn problems. As much as I enjoyed Lane Kiffin beating, I got my own problems here. I don't have the luxury to be worrying about them. Ryan says LSU will lose 3 to 4 games. I'm telling you, there's some catchy spots there on the back end. And that Vandy thing is a real deal. That Vandy thing is the real deal that you better be careful. So I don't know. John, I'm telling you right now, Indy is not going to the playoffs. We lose 2 more games. Got it. We'll book that. Somebody asked, where is it? I want to address this, and we'll go right back to the calls. 202, you're coming up. Where is it? I highlighted this. Look, all right, somebody's got to tell me about this. Hearing Jags is out for the year. What's up with that? Preserving it as if he's missing half the season. Better wrap him in bubble wrap. Tell me if I missed this. I thought everybody just knew that he had a major setback and he's done for the year. Like, I just thought people knew that. I heard from John Bryce that Jags was out of that cast with like the rope that keeps it on like in, right? One of them casts with the triangle foam and then a thing with the strap. I think it wasn't even this week. It was last week. John Bryce was reporting, yeah, he had a major setback. He got out of the brace, had a setback. Now he's back in the brace. The dude is done. He ain't playing. So I just thought everybody knew that. Like, so apparently not. It's called a sling. Well, whatever. Maybe you could watch your favorite TV channels or whatever on the sling. Isn't that what that's called? Anyway, he's out. All right. So I don't know. Well, Johnny broke his arm, but normally that takes a few months. Apparently there was a setback. So I don't know what happened. John Bryce is pretty good with the info. I trust John Bryce. 202, welcome to the show.
Hello, John. This is Scott from the Washington, D.C. area. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling, man. Looks like you're a first-time caller. Thanks for waiting. I wanted to get you on. What's on your mind?
Well, thank you, John. Yeah, I am a first-time caller. Listen, I wanted to address your question about the defense.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard that, I said, I better call. Because I watch a lot of Boise State games. My cousin is their travel director.
Oh, interesting.
So her and her crowd will be there. I just can't do that because I'm obviously a Catholic Notre Dame fan. I played at Boston College a long, long time ago, very briefly. So Notre Dame is the Catholic standard for this country.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you said that, by the way. I like the way you said that. In a lot of ways, I think that applies. I like that. Very well stated.
No, it's just a fact. I mean, BC is a regional school largely. And they, because there's a lot of Jesuit colleges, I think they split all their money. So it's hard for them to, take that next step. I don't care who they hire as a head coach.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to address your quickly. I watch a lot of Boise State games. Tammy and I grew up in the Bay Area. My parents, her dad went to San Jose State. I went to Stanford after I finished at BC. And, they moved up to Idaho to escape the California nonsense. And, they've been there for a lot of years. And she's been their travel director for a very long time. So I watch a lot of their games. They have very, very fast defensive players. They're small.
Mm-hmm.
They play a lot of hybrid guys. Like their linebackers are really safeties. So what I notice every time I see them play, and I noticed this in the Air Force game, is that they will get through and make a lot of plays in the backfield. And there are going to be times during the game where they're going to be able to stall Notre Dame. And so what I think Notre Dame will probably have to do is they're going to have to be very dominant and control the line of scrimmage, maybe with an extra tight end or an extra blocker. And you have to use your power against them and push them back. Air Force did a lot of that and scored 37 on them. So also on as far as regards to your defense, this Maddox kid is like, 5'2"? No, he's 5'10".
Yeah.
He kind of disappears in the line. You don't know whether he's going to run it or pitch it or throw it. And he he kind of buys time for himself. He's kind of like a Brock Purdy type player, where he kind of buys time for himself, and that's how they tend to move the ball. So I would load up the box, use your power against them, and I think that's going to be very successful for Notre Dame. I expect them to win the game very easily. I expect my cousin probably won't speak to me for the next 6 months, but so what? It's worth it, right?
Yeah. And then, okay, so I think that spread started at 17.5, and now I'm seeing it's up over 20. I mean, so I don't know if that's Vegas telling you something, or if there's new belief in Notre Dame's offense to pile up a lot of points. But I'm always aware of Boise being the big brand beater, and they're going to not be intimidated coming to South Bend at all. They relish this kind of moment.
No.
And quite frankly, who doesn't? Everybody likes coming in. Marshall and NIU, they all like coming to Notre Dame, apparently. So, like, you're not going to get any fear factor there. It's on Notre Dame to keep getting better. Now, I'll ask you, since we've never chatted, what do you make of the Notre Dame defense overall? I like this because you're a new guy in the mix with new opinions. You have some experience in the game. What are your thoughts about the defense? You feeling better about it, or was that just an irrecoverable mistake? What do you think?
Well, again, it looks like to me, having played, that this team is trying to figure out what it's a different defensive coordinator. So they're trying to figure out the system and trying to get to know each other. But I would expect that starting this week and future weeks, you're going to see a different defense. They're going to be a lot more dominant.
Man, I hope so.
Now, Boise, again,
I hope so.
Boise's going to challenge that. You're going to think, well, Boise did a lot of things against us that I don't like. That's going to happen. They do that to everybody. They were a 21-point underdog a few years ago when they went to Florida State, and they won that game by 18 points.
Yeah,
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, they're one of those teams you're always kind of on the alert for and kind of have a default level of respect for. I don't know. Notre Dame's entering a key stretch here. If you have any playoff hopes at all, you got to win this one. A tough
battle. They'll win this one.
Oh, man.
They'll win this one. But look, Boise's going to make you look silly. And you can't say, well, the defense concerns me. Because the other teams you're going to play going forward, the defense is going to figure that out. This is just a very clever team. And they are a team that's going to be in the new Pac-12 next year. And this is a team that has a lot of emerging talent. I've been to their last year. I went to their preseason football camp, and I saw them practice. And this is a team that's going to make you look bad, but Notre Dame is going to get better defensively each and every week. I expect them to be in the playoffs and to make a long run in the playoffs, led by their defense.
Man, it'll be this is going to be an interesting journey. These next 3 games are going to pretty much determine everything, I think. You got this matchup. You got an NC State team that's going to want to be grindy and get you in the mud and have that kind of fight. And then you have USC's offense coming to town. So you have 3 home games here before this break that are really, really key. And if you get by there, then you're looking at 10-2 being a real possibility. I have some concerns about the Ash defense against Navy, just because I don't trust the guy right now and how you're going to defend Navy, but that's for down the road. You got to get there with 2 losses first.
Yeah, I think Boise State's a much better team than some of those teams you mentioned, including Navy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. So I don't know, man. Anything else on your mind? I appreciate the first time call and the insight.
No, I just don't want you to get too upset about your defense. Boise State will have plays. They will make plays on their defense.
But I get upset about everything all the time.
Okay.
Like that's kind of my deal. Yeah, I will.
Actually, I like you upset because that's must-see video, must-see YouTube.
Yeah, you know what, man? Like a lot of last year, I had some people reach out to me and be like, John, you're really getting soft. Like, why you don't have that vibe you used to. Why are you getting soft on us? And I said, Notre Dame's winning all these games in a row. I don't have as many things to yell about and get pissed about. Like when things are going well, I don't have to yell and freak out and do the whole thing. I want to be in that place. It's good for my blood pressure.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. By the way, you're going to have plenty to bitch about next week about Boise State, but you are going to beat them.
Well, I appreciate it. You got to get the win. Hey, man, I really appreciate the call. Thanks a lot for the insight. And
Thank you.
I love getting a first-time caller. Keep the number. Call again whenever you want.
Thank you, John. Have a good day.
Have a good one. What a nice gentleman. What a nice gentleman. You guys, this chat, I just can't. Omar. I'm telling you what, there is no. I'm just telling you, man, there is no football show in America that has the vibe of this one. I don't know what to make of it. I just think, like, maybe my personality attracts an interesting crowd, but you guys are unbelievable. You guys are... Everything. You guys are. Oh, God, you guys. Oh, I don't know why some of this is so funny. Slip, that was really good. Take Rougiette, you'll be ready. Oh, man. Oh, you know what's bugging me? I'm going to yell about this right now. I'm gonna yell about this right now. You know what's bugging me? If you spend a lot of time on YouTube, Johnny Rockets, there is actually a restaurant called Johnny Rockets. How appropriate. If you spend a lot of time on YouTube, you know, they put the commercials, you know, the annoying commercials, and after 5 seconds, you can hit skip or whatever. All of the commercials now are, think about it. This is the shit that I think about all the time. All of these commercials now are set up to look like it's a natural podcast, but it's just for the commercial, and it's bugging me. The Rougiette one, there's a bunch of them, and the commercial is two people on a couch looking like they're having a regular podcast, but it's just for the commercial. It bothers me. It bothers me. It just does. Just. Oh my. Oh my God. Every single one of them. Oh my God. You guys, there is nothing like this chat. This is, we all need to grow up, and it's just never going to happen. Oh my God. This is. Oh my God. This is. You guys are out of control. Oh man. All right. I need a break. I need a drink of water and to calm down. We'll go right back to the Every dollar matters when you run a club, bar, restaurant, or country club. Lost tabs, slow payments, and walkouts cut into your profits fast. That's why venues trust the City Cheers app. With City Cheers, guests can receive promo details for your upcoming events and open and close their tabs right from their phones. Payments are instant, your walkouts will drop, and your team saves time with fewer card runs and less hassle for everybody involved. Managers get real-time reporting and transaction tracking, so you know exactly what's happening on the floor, from sales to staff performance. Servers can handle more tables with less effort, boosting check averages and increasing their tips. And when your staff works smarter, not harder, morale goes up, service speeds up, and turnover goes down, creating a smoother, more profitable operation every single night. Protect your profits, empower your team, and simplify your business with City Cheers. This app is built for venues that want to win. So if you're ready to take your business to the next level, call friend of the show and loyal Notre Dame son, Tom Frawley, at 773-332-7742 today. Be sure to tell him Always Irish sent you. All right, we're going to try and grow up here a little bit. All right, for everybody who thought that was WPP, let's bring up WPP. He was on a hold the whole time, so I know it wasn't him. What's up, WPP?
Hey, John, it's Pat from West Palm. Thanks for taking the call.
No problem. What's going on, man? What's on your mind this week?
A smart caller that just called in. Thought he sounded very, very intelligent. Good guy. You're very stupid people in your chat, obviously, that mock the guy. I don't know why.
They do that to everybody. It's like an initiation. But yeah, I like the insight, and I always love getting new people in, man. And he has a little history with these programs. It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, the people in the chat like expect somebody to call in and like grunt or scream what do they expect? Intelligent people don't communicate by grunting or swearing or shouting. They keep a reasonable tone.
Pat, you gotta,
right?
You know what I've learned? Here's what I've learned after years of doing this. Some of the people that are the most critical in the chat on the callers are people that never call in and put their own thoughts up on the line. You know what I mean? Like, it's really easy to type about everyone else, but a lot of them are the same people that have never called, so that everybody could gauge how well they do their analysis and put it together. Like, it's just funny to me.
John. Sorry to interrupt, John, but please don't give him any ideas. I mean, it's a mercy.
Yeah, it could get worse. It could just get worse. So WPP, what do you make? What do you make of this week, man? You got Boise coming. Do you feel like Notre Dame's gaining a little momentum, or are you still on edge and don't trust the defense? Where are you at this week in your mind?
No, I think that if we play good teams with good offensive and defensive lines, we will lose. If we play crappy teams, we'll win. We're starting to play crappy teams on our schedule, so we're winning. And people are, banging tambourines and dancing. We're playing crappy teams and we're beating them. That's all. I mean, the difference between the haves and the have-nots in college football has never been greater because of the NIL. You know what I mean? Like, NIL made it more equitable at the top. So there's, like 6-7 years ago, it was either Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, or Clemson that would win every national title, right? Those 4 teams. Everyone else was a huge drop-off. With NIL, now there's probably 8 to 10 teams that could win it all.
Right, but then
so
you're saying, but then you're saying below that, you're bereft of talent because anybody good on any of those teams gets swiped and put up and gets paid to join one of the upper crest tier. Is that what you mean?
That's right.
Okay.
The difference between, like the 15th ranked team, I think we're about the 15th best team in the country. That's how I see this Notre Dame team. The difference between the 15th best team and the 50th best team, a team like Boise, has never been greater than it is right now. So we're beating up on Arkansas and Purdue's, and we'll probably beat up on Boise State, but that doesn't mean we're good.
Yeah.
That just means they are worse than they've ever been. And the ACC as a conference, with an exception here and there, right? But as a conference, the ACC has been rated by the SEC.
Yeah.
And so teams like Miami, they throw a lot of money into the NIL. They can keep their best players, and they can pull in good ones. But the average ACC team like Pitt or Boston College or Stanford,
yeah,
their rosters are depleted.
Yeah.
You know, we'll crush those teams.
Hey, can I ask you something? Multiple people have asked this. They want you to expand on the blowout versus running up the score, and what is the difference in the nuance between those two things in your mind of a blowout versus running up the score on somebody to where it rubs you the wrong way morally? Where is your line there? How are you dividing that out?
I mean, I've said this so many times, but I guess I have to repeat it because the people in the chat aren't clever enough to draw any kind of a distinction. Okay. I have no problem blowing a team out, running your offense and whatever, while the game is in doubt, right? And this past weekend, we had half the game to play. And if anybody, the only people dumb enough to think that a 28 or 29 point lead with the whole second half to be played, when you have Ash as your defensive coordinator that thinks that's a safe lead, is so dumb that they belong in your chat. That's how dumb they are. That game was not decided. And so you run whatever you do to score again. And I don't think we scored on the drive, but I have no problem as far as sportsmanship trying to score at the beginning of the third quarter when you have Chris Ash as your defensive coordinator.
Dude,
it's 2 halves to play.
Yeah, but I just like, it's just funny that you casually just dissed like pretty much the whole chat.
Well, John, look, they're dumb. Unfortunately, John, from where you sit, there's a fair number of perverts that are making their way into your chat, disgusting perverts. But let's move on. I don't want to talk about the chat. Really don't. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about was the stupidity of running that fake punt when you're up by that, not from a sportsmanship standpoint, but because why are you revealing a good trick play when you're up by that much? What the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
And then Freeman in the press conference says, I wanted to give our future opponents something to prepare for. Hey, Freeman, don't you want your opponents not to be prepared? What am I missing? How stupid is that? I'd rather have my opponents not prepared for a play like that. I couldn't believe how stupid that answer was. It really was. It was just ridiculously stupid.
Yeah,
so
I don't know. That is interesting. I know what Freeman said about it, and I don't know if it's like if we see a look we like that we think they'll present, we're going to do it here. Maybe they wanted to put it on film so other people have to worry about it, and then they'll do something different off of it. I don't know. Interesting spot to use that. You're like, where was that against A&M or Miami when you could have used a desperately used another possession, right?
No. Freeman, in fairness to Marcus Freeman, whom as you know, I've been a big critic, right? In fairness to him, he is smart in the sense that the time to run a trick play isn't when you're losing a game. Everybody's waiting on it. Like in the national championship game, didn't we try to run a fake punt there and the whole world knew we were going to do it? The time isn't when you're losing. It's when you're ahead a little bit and you're afraid the other team's going to get ahead of you and you could steal a possession. That's the time to run a trick play. That's when no one expects you to do it.
I get what you're saying. You finally get a little bit of a leader momentum, and then you feel it's like typically a punt. You're in a good position to do a regular punt play D, and then you sneak up on them. Yeah, I like that. So, okay, WPP, what do you expect this week against Boise? You think Notre Dame will cover if it's 20 points or whatever, and it's not going to impress you, or what?
It's not going to impress me. I don't think Boise's got a strong team this year. I think we'll just club that team. I mean, the Carr kid is the real deal. He really, I mean, I've never seen by the way, I hate the term redshirt freshman. Why don't we just call him a sophomore? Like, what is this redshirt nonsense? I mean, I could see calling somebody a redshirt senior, right? Because that's really a fifth year. Why don't we just call Carr a sophomore? Anyway, I'll move on. But the point is, he's throwing strikes like I've never seen. I don't think I've ever seen a college quarterback in his sophomore year play this well. And I was thinking like Clausen in 08, but Clausen wasn't playing this well. And Clausen had Golden Tate and Michael Floyd to throw to. I mean, this might be the best sophomore campaign I've ever seen out of a Notre Dame quarterback.
Yeah, he's
I can't think of anybody who's been better.
It's trending in the right direction. I know Denbrock's got to be happy. He's got a lot to work with. And I just hope you keep seeing some defensive improvement here. Like, they got to incrementally keep getting better. Anything else you're looking for this week, WPP? Thanks for calling.
No. Thanks for taking the call, John. And, I have no hope that the people in your chat are going to understand the difference between blowing somebody out and running up the score. But, they're a lost cause. But thanks for taking the call, John. And I hope I'm not going to be around, so I won't be calling in for a little while, but I'm traveling. But I hope you're well, and be good, man.
Hey, thanks a lot. Be in touch. We'll talk to you on Patreon. Call again when you can. The highlight to all. The highlight to all that's when he called everyone in the chat a pervert. There is no college football channel in America like this one, man. There is no, you can't even describe it. Like, you gotta have, remember when I was talking about rugby and you gotta have a screw loose to do the rugby? I'm telling you, you may have to have a screw loose to hit that subscribe button and be in here. Oh my God, that's funny. Oh, geez, that's good stuff. 773, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to see Notre Dame take the field again. It got a little momentum, a little confidence. I want to see what we do.
Yeah. I'm excited about Carr. There's some other things that I'm not too excited about, and I'll get into them in a minute here. But I'm excited about Carr because I think right now with this season, this is the only thing I'm looking at as far as going into next year. Because as far as the schedule goes, I just don't see anything that you can look at and say, hey, they're getting better because they beat Stanford. They're getting better because they beat Boise. They're getting better because they beat North Carolina State. So as far as that goes, I'm going to explain this in a minute. If people, people with the chat, what's funny about the chat is, and I was thinking about this too. My brother was cracking up when he seen it. When I called, I don't know, what about Bavakwa? And I said, hey, listen, Notre Dame's going to get a guy. His next athletic director is going to be a guy from NBC executive. Then the whole chat went nuts. Like, okay, sure, they're going to bring in a guy to run the sports program that produces Baywatch. Okay, so, and then I explained the whole thing about, Notre Dame's just trying to save the TV contract. That's why they're bringing in Babakwa. But anyway, here's what I want to talk to you about is this playoff. I talked to a guy who knows about this stuff. And getting back to just so you know, I have a little bit of credibility here. Babakwa did end up being the athletic director. They named him 6 weeks later. And I was also the guy that said they had to change the defense 9 months ago. And again, I got blasted. And people go, well, why do they have to change the defense? I said, when you have a new athletic director, he's got to change the defense because there's things in defenses, like when Golden calls a defense, he's not going to go. If it's 3rd and 6 at the opposing team's 20, it's a different 3rd and 6 than a 3rd and 6 on the other side of the field. And it's different from the first quarter and the fourth quarter. And it's different if you're up 21-7 or you're down by 3. You call your defenses completely different according to whatever's going on the field. So when people said, no, they're not going to change they have to change. He doesn't know what was in Al Golden's head on every single down and distance, what quarter it was, how much time's left in the game, and are you up or are you down? Those are how you call defenses. I'm going to call a blitz if I'm on the other opposing team side of the field. It's 3rd and 8, and you're up by 2 touchdowns. I'm going to run a Mike Becker through the A gap, as opposed to we're up by 3. We're on the outside of the field. The defense be a little bit softer. I'm going to be a little bit more cautious. Now, how would Ash know what Golden was thinking with that defense at those times? He wouldn't. That's why you have to change the defense. Do you have any questions about that? And I'll get into the playoff and how they're going to put a formula in there to pick these teams from now on.
Yeah, let me hear the formula.
Okay, here's what they're going to do with this, and it's genius. I mean, when I sat down with this guy, because I didn't think that they'd ever pick a week where people would be happy. I thought every year people are going to be unsatisfied. And here's what I mean by that. You know, like when Florida State was 13-0, and the committee said, nope, not good enough. We're going to put 10-2 Alabama in. And everyone went berserk. How can you leave an undefeated team? So what happened was the commissioners from the conferences went in and blamed the committee. They blamed the committee for the ACC falling apart. They said, you're the reason why, because you left Florida State out of the playoffs. The next day they turned around, filed to lead the conference because they knew it was a weak conference. You're the reason why the ACC, right. And so they said, you know what? He's right. He's absolutely right. If we didn't leave Florida State out of the playoffs, they wouldn't have turned around the next day to file and said, we're out of here. We're gone. 13-0, we can't get in the playoffs. See you later. Alabama's 10-2, right? They lost to Georgia in the conference championship game. They're 10-2, and they get in the playoff. So they have to figure out a way, John. Hold on. Let me get something to drink here. They have to figure out a way. How can we do this so we don't run into that problem again? How can we explain? Now, with that being said, everybody still knew the playoff committee goes, okay, if Alabama plays Florida State, who wins? And everybody agreed Alabama crushes them. Okay, so then what's the problem with putting 10-2 Alabama in? Because just the way it looks, everybody, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth when the team is 13-0 and you say, no, they're not good enough to play us. So the next question is, so why would we play next year? Suppose we go 13-0 again. Are we not in the playoffs? They knew they had this problem, so here's the formula. And it's genius. What they're going to do is they're going to look at the teams that you played that are in the top 25, the rankings. And what they're going to do is break it down 1 through 5, 5 through 10, 10 through 15. You know, there'll be 5 brackets. Okay, say you're, I don't know, you got 2 teams. They have the same exact record. They're 10-2. And both teams have, and I'm doing this to show you, you could be this close and you could still pick the better team. So both teams are 10-2, and you both won 7. You played 7 ranked teams, and you were 5-2. So both teams are 10-2 overall. You played 7 ranked teams, and both teams are 5-2. Normally, you look at that and go, "Oh, now what?" And one's in the Big Ten, one's in the SEC, or both in one conference. Who cares? So now they're going to look at the 5-2, with the ranked teams that you played. The one team played 5 ranked teams, and you're looking at it and saying, "All right, let's say it's Michigan. Michigan played 5 ranked teams, and you're like, look at the teams they played. They played the number 2 team, the number 4 team, the number 5 team. So now you look at that and say 3 of the 5 wins were in the top bracket. And like I said before, 1 through 5, 5 to 10, 5 brackets to 25. So you have 3 teams in that top bracket. Each team is worth 5 points. The top bracket gets 5, the next one gets 4, the next one gets 3, 2, 1. So they beat 3 teams in the top bracket, then they beat another team in the second bracket, maybe the 8th ranked team, and then the last one was a 22nd ranked team in the last bracket. So the 3 ranked teams in the top 5, you get 15 points. Then you beat another team that's 5 through 10, you get 4 points. Okay, so you're at 19 points. And then the last one, 20 to 25, you get 1 point. Because obviously it goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So now you got that score there. You take the next 10-2 team, and again, they have the same thing. 5-2 according to ranked teams. But now you look at them, where Michigan played 3 teams in the top 5, you look at them and go, holy cow, look at the 5. They're 5. The best team they played that they beat, the best is number 14. So you're looking at it and going, holy cow, 2 teams that are ranked 10 to 15, 2 teams that are 15 to 20, and 1 team from 20 to 25. So you add it up, 6, 7, 8, 9 points. So they have 9 points because even though they both have 5 wins, 3 points in the top bracket, 1 through 5, is worth 15 points. 3 points in the third bracket is now only worth 3 points to win. They get 9 points. So now you add them up, and they both have the same record, 10 and 2, 5 and 2 with ranked teams. You add up the points, and that's how you weigh the schedule. So now people say, how did you know that team got in and that team didn't get in? They're both 10 and 2. They're both 5 and 2 against ranked opponents, and they're both in the same schedule. How did you pick that one? And then they can point to them. The top bracket is 1 through 5. The second one is 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20. And we added points, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put the teams in whatever bracket they're in, add up the points. Whoever had the most points, that was the team that got the playoffs, and the other team was left out. Now, argue that with me. You tell me what's wrong with that system, as opposed to calling Florida State and saying, sorry, you're not in at 13-0. We're bringing the 10-2 Alabama team with us. What a system. When this guy sat down with me, John, he said, listen, and this guy's brother is in the playoff committee. He took it to him. He called me up and goes, dude, you know how you said there'd never be a fair way? He goes, meet me at lunch in 2 hours. I'm going to show you what they're going to put in. He broke this down. I looked at it for 2 hours, and I said, this is genius. You can't shoot a hole in this. You can't. You 2 teams, same conference, same record, but yet you were able to find the better team because their 3 victories were in the top bracket, where the other teams' 3 victories were in the 4th bracket.
Okay.
So, sorry.
So let me ask this. How does this change now that you're in a 12-team field, right? Where you have a bigger net and more margin and leeway. You just keep the same thing, but there's just more of a net to be able to line them up?
What do you mean by a 12-team thing? Oh, 12 teams?
Yeah, because...
Yeah, it's just a bigger thing. It doesn't matter, John. How many 14 teams, 60? It doesn't matter. What the problem always wasn't like, well, 12 teams. Oh, no, we can't use it now because there's 14 teams. The issue is not how many teams were getting in the playoffs, John. The issue was every year something would pop up, like a Florida State and Alabama. Okay, here's the problem. Florida State's 13-0. They win their conference. Alabama's 10-2. They lost to Georgia in their conference. So now everybody's expecting Florida State to go, right? They're conference champions. Alabama lost to Georgia. And all of a sudden, Alabama goes and everyone goes crazy. But then Alabama told them, you told us that by playing conference championship games, that wasn't going to hurt us. And now you're telling us we can't get in the playoffs because we lost to Georgia in the conference championship game? If we didn't play that game, we'd be 11-1. We'd be in the playoffs. Now you're telling us, sorry, Florida State's got to go because you lost and you're 10-2. Guess what? We'll never play another conference championship again, ever. We'll get the invitation. Sorry, we won't be there.
Yeah.
That's what they were afraid of. That's what they were afraid of, John. If that situation opened up everyone's eyes and said, look at this mess. How do you explain to people? Hey, that doesn't matter. 4 teams, because you're still going to have the thing at the end where you're going to have teams with the same record. You're going to have a bunch of teams that are 10-2, a bunch of teams that are 9-3. You see what I'm saying? That 2 losses and 3 losses, 1, 2, and 3. You're going to have a bunch of teams that fall into that. But then what scared them, John, was this: if 2 teams had the same exact record, one in the Big Ten, one in the SEC, but the one team in the SEC lost their conference championship, the one in the Big Ten won their conference championship. So now you tell the team in the SEC, you can't go because the Big Ten won. No. You told us it wasn't going to hurt because it didn't matter. It's 1 versus 2 for the conference championship. So you're telling me the second best team in the SEC just got thrown off the playoffs because we beat the best team in the SEC? sorry, we won't be here next year. When that happened, John, this guy told me that his brother said when they came in and they dressed them down and said, you guys are the reason the ACC collapsed. You guys can't get your shit together with the playoffs. Who made the decision Florida State's not going to the playoffs? You know, they were like, well, look at Alabama would kick the shit out of Florida State. It doesn't matter. The public's looking at this and saying 2 losses, 0 losses, 2 losses, 0 losses. Yes, people that know football know, well, Alabama would beat Florida State, so I know why they did that. But the casual football fan looks at it like, well, this doesn't make any sense to me. So Florida State goes 13-0. They don't get in. So then what do you tell Florida State? Hey, guys, you might as well not even play next year. Why? Well, I mean, obviously, if you go 13-0, you're not going to be invited. And then Clemson's looking at that and going, whoa, back up here. Because if you go 13-0, we're not going. Well, it depends. If Georgia or Alabama are 10-2, correct. You won't be going. So they had a problem. So they got to work and said, we got to figure out a system here where we could put it up, explain why the teams got in. I don't care if they have the same record. I don't care if they take the same amount of ranked teams. I don't care if the record is the same. They both are 5-2 against ranked teams. We have to find a system, okay, that we can separate it and everybody feels like, you know what? Okay, you know what? We understand now. They were both 10-2, 5-2 against ranked teams, but that team that won their 5 games, they played 3 teams in the top 5. And the other 5-2 team, their 3 teams were standing in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th bracket. So they didn't accumulate the points that they did, that the other team did. We can buy that. Because you can turn to them and say, you tell us what's wrong with the team we picked. And you can't. I looked at this for 2 hours. There was nothing about this system that I could point to and say, this isn't going to work because of this. Because of that weighted, that 1 through 5, 5 through 10, and then they put points to that. That eliminates any crap about, well, all 3 of them are 5-2 against ranked teams.
Yeah.
Or all 3 of them are 10-2. All 3 of them are 5-2 against ranked teams. How did you? And you can only pick one. How did you know to pick that team? Normally in the past, they just said, "Oh, weighted schedule. They play in the SEC." That's what they counted as weighted schedule. Oh, weighted schedule, without realizing that, yeah, but the teams that team played in the SEC played Vanderbilt, Kentucky, South Carolina. That other team that has the same 5-2 record played Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. So how did you know to take that team and not that team? Oh, weighted schedule. Look, they play the same schedule. What do you mean weighted schedule? They're both in the same conference. How can you say that they played a better schedule than them? They're both in the SEC. So now this is what they came up with. I looked at this thing and I was excited. But here's the problem now for Notre Dame, and I'll let you go. And then this is when let me get something great. This is when I lost my excitement. Now look at Notre Dame's situation. Boy, it's just depressing, Jack. Because right away I ran to Notre Dame, and I thought, all right, if Notre Dame goes 10-2, let's say they have 4 teams that are 10-2. Yeah, we could say there's 5 teams that are 10-2. 2 in the Big Ten, 2 in the SEC, and Notre Dame. 5 teams that are 10-2. You look at and here's the other thing that's interesting. He told me, he goes, when they look at these 5 sheets that are 10-2, they're not even going to know what schools they are. At the top of the page, they won't know that it's Oregon. They're not going to tell. They're just going to have 10-2, 10-2, 10-2, and their conference 5-2, 5-2, 5-2, or even 4-3, because a team could be 4-3, but underneath this weighted deal, the team that's 4-3 against ranked teams, the 4 ranked teams they played were 2, 4, 5, and 7. And the team that has 5 teams, there is 15, 17, 18, 20. Well, the team that has the 4 wins, is going to have more points than the team that has five wins because they're higher. But let me get to Notre Dame real quick. And this is what's depressing, Don. Very depressing. If you look at their schedule now, they played 2 ranked teams. They lost. Now, this is a great example. Now you look at the rest of the schedule, and you're like, uh-oh. Let's say USC rolls in at 4-3 or whatever they're going to be. Nobody's ranked. So if you put Notre Dame's 10-2 up against an Ole Miss 10-2 up, you look at Notre Dame's 10-2, and it's going to be they don't have any points. There's 0 ranked teams here they beat. You take Ole Miss ranked team, and they're 4-3. They beat 4 ranked teams and lost to 3 ranked teams.
Yeah.
So they're automatically in first. But they beat 4. But now here, look at it this way. Reverse it. This will show you the genius of this thing. Say Notre Dame wins the first 2 games and they're 4-0. Look at the points they accumulate. Miami's 3, A&M is 10. They're sitting on 9 points after 2 games.
Yeah.
9 points, John. I mean, here, 10 points would have been protection. If Texas A&M was ranked 5th, so Miami 3, Texas A&M 5, they would have had 10 points because they would have beat 2 teams 1-5. But A&M's 10. Now, I don't know what they were today, but A&M's 10, so they give them 4 points because that 5-10 is worth 4 points. So after 2 games, John, they could have had 10 playoff points. Then they kick the shit out of Arkansas and Purdue. They don't get any points, but that's okay because they're sitting on 10 points already. So they keep going. Let's say USC rolls in at 7-1, and they're ranked 8th or 7th or 6th. Who knows? Maybe even 5th. They take the shit out of USC. Let's say USC's 5th or 6th. So they get 4 or 5 points for being there. Now they've got 9 points. Throw another 4 or 5 points on there. You get to that 15 to 20 for playoff points, you're home free, brother. You're home free when you get into that range.
Yeah.
But the problem I'll finish up here. The problem Notre Dame has, you look at the rest of the schedule, there's nobody ranked, and there's no playoff points. They lost the first 2 games, so they could be 10-2, have no playoff points, and everybody's going to go berserk at Notre Dame and say, Ole Miss is 10-2, and you let them. Why didn't you let Notre Dame in? Well, look at Ole Miss. They have 4 teams they beat in the.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I understand the equation. I do understand the equation, and so I don't know, man. Let's just go 10-2, and then just see what happens.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Have a good. We're having an interesting day on the Always Irish channel. A very, very interesting day. May God help us all. And the problem is everybody here is low IQ, and you had to have a high IQ to follow all the points we had, and we didn't have it, and they had, and we didn't have it, and they had 9 points. How many points you got, buddy? The puppy who lost its way. Andrew, that's pretty good. 615, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can now.
Oh, here we go. All right. So when it comes to, in my personal opinion, when it comes to the whole playoff conversation, I don't think.
What's your equation?
The only way that Notre Dame is going to get in, and trust me, big Notre Dame fan, and I'm telling you, it has to be the numbers that they put up, and not necessarily the total numbers, but how they put them up and in what scenarios they put them up. So for Boise State, I'm going to say, if you're going to want to impress people, you're going to impress them on 3rd and short. You're going to impress them on how many yards are you getting when you're throwing the ball and when you're running the ball. So I think that when Notre Dame's at 3rd and short, what are you going to do? Are you going to let them get a first down or not?
Wait, what? What did I miss? Third, what? My brain is fried. What are we asking? 3rd down and what?
So, against Boise State,
Yeah.
I think the biggest equation that we're going to see on defense when it comes to wanting to build a resume for playoffs, and this goes for every team that we have left on the schedule. How are you going to stop teams on 3rd and short? Because the biggest problem I feel like we've had so far is not stopping anybody on 3rd down. We've had some pretty lucky turnovers, but I think when it comes to the overall aspect of the defense, I see more value in stopping teams and forcing them to punt than I do in a turnover. You're going to get turnovers. This defense is, no matter how bad we think they've been, they can cause turnovers, fumbles, picks, anything you can think of. But the 3rd down situation has got to get fixed. And I think if you can cause teams to go 3 and out consistently, that's going to be a big point.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a big deal. And then you know what else is on my mind? You kind of referenced it vaguely, but like in this game specifically, people talking about 10-2 is 10-2. But if you're going to play a bunch of those teams on the back end that are not highly ranked, you got to blow everybody out with 10-2, right? Like, and I don't know. I'm too worried about just getting to 10-2 and not overlooking Boise and winning the one in front of us before I worry about that. And then it doesn't look pretty enough. I just think even at 10-2, Notre Dame might need some help here. You're going to be hard pressed to find a 9-3 SEC team that lost 3 to 3 really good teams and then say Notre Dame deserved to be in it even at 10-2. I don't know. I need the other guy's equation to figure it out.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think, and when it goes, back to the Arkansas game, like I think it was the previous caller, maybe the one before, talking about, we still had a whole half to play. I mean, Notre Dame could have easily put up 70 points. I mean, maybe even more. I really believe it. And I look at that and I'm like, okay, you've lost the first 2 games. Yes, both of those teams are in the top 5, but it's like, okay, you've got to prove a point. And the only way you're going to prove a point is by absolutely just demolishing teams. And I think at the end of the season, even with the conferences having their championships, if you've got a Notre Dame team that's putting up 450 yards a game and scoring 60, 70 points, no matter who you're playing, you put up 70 points, you're showing something. So they've had 2 games now where they've left 20 plus points on the board. And you look at it and you're like, okay, if I'm Marcus Freeman, like, man, I'm taking the play calling over at the end of the game. Like, if we're putting backups in, I'm still taking shots in the end zone. Because if you can put those points up with backups in, then that just proves your point that you've got the firepower to compete with anybody. And at the end of the day, we can also say 4-point difference comes down to the last possession in both of the first 2 games. Think about it. Like, you took 2 top 5 teams to the brink, and you lost. Well, Texas A&M, that I can go freaking smoke a cigarette with that one. But I'm telling you, the first 2 games, if the defense played anything remotely close to the way they played against Arkansas, they probably at least split the first 2.
Yeah, well, what's getting me is you didn't even have to play elite defense to win. I think maybe not Miami. I think they deserve the win, but definitely A&M. You didn't even have to be elite on defense. You could have just been average and won that game, and you couldn't even find it in yourself to be average. That's what bothers me. You didn't even have to be great. You just had to be average. Couldn't do it. Couldn't even be average.
Yeah,
that's all it would have taken to be 1-1. And if you split those 1-1, you're sitting in what, 6th, 7th, 8th position right now, feeling perfectly fine about your chances. The A&M is the one that got away. I think Miami earned that win over Notre Dame. We gave A&M that win, and it hurts, and I'm frustrated.
I think it's hilarious. I was watching the game with my dad, and we both looked at each other when they lined up for that 4th and long. And I looked at my dad and I said, "They're gonna score." I literally looked at my dad and I said, "They're gonna score a touchdown. I can feel it." And it's sad as a Notre Dame fan, you can just feel it. You just know it could be the most impossible scenario, and it'll happen. But I think when it comes to Boise State, I'll make this really short so you can get the next call. When it comes to the next game, Notre Dame's defense has to blitz. I think if you force that quarterback to the outside and you allow that man coverage to really become effective so they can jump in front of the route, because unfortunately, I don't think that they're as fast as a lot of teams in the secondary. And I know there's some people that may get mad at me about that, but I don't think that they are. I think they're definitely a little bit slower than they have been in the past. If they can force into the outside and force these receivers to plant a foot and slow down a little bit, and you can jump a route, you can do a lot of damage. But on offense, there's zero reason for you to even come close to a 3rd and 5. They should absolutely demolish Boise State. I expect 60-plus points.
Ooh, man, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points there, brother. Hey, we're going to see what happens. And if you want to impress the committee potentially, that would be a really, really good start. And so I don't know. I'm just worried about you keeping winning games. And I don't know, man. Hey, thanks for calling today. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, man. Go Irish. I'll see you later.
Have a good one. Dude, my brain kind of hurts. I'm not smart enough for this program. $20 holler. Nice to see everybody in better spirits. Nice job handling Arkansas. Keep it up. Stay healthy and gig 'em. That is Rick, our Texas A&M friend. Another one, $20 holler. I'd like to get the chat thoughts. NIL is about to change dramatically when the top players realize it gives them free market without a salary cap, no draft order. First and richest offer gets the best players. Agents also. Yeah, you're getting into that dynamic where you're going to be able to sell some of these guys. You don't need to go to the NFL. We'll guarantee you more money for one more year here, and then you have all that money guaranteed, and then whatever happens with your rookie contract or whatever, where you end up making more. That's a lot of that's going on in women's basketball for sure, where the WNBA doesn't pay that good. And if you're a really good college player, you can make more money on a State Farm deal coming back to college than going into the draft and making $200,000 a year or something from the WNBA. Tom Chris, $20 hour. I got to thank these guys. They got all this handcrafted stuff they make, and Tom like sandblasts it into glass and makes all this stuff. Hold on a second. I'll show you what they brought me. See if you can see it on the air. Wait a second. Tom, Chris, I love you guys. I'm going to show off this whiskey decanter with my logo. Check this out. I don't know. Can you see that? And it's got the Always Irish on it, and then it's got these cups with the Always Irish on it. It's hard to see in the light, but like he sandblasted. I don't know. I ain't that handy, but I just really do appreciate the effort there, making all that cool stuff. So thank you, Tom, Chris. They come to every event, and I met them at the Sam Hartman autograph event. You want to talk about a place full of perverts? You should have seen everybody in that line. Unbelievable. The guy was showing off his thighs. Whoa. All right, you guys. My brain is fried. Everybody else on hold is a regular caller that calls multiple times a week and gets on the air multiple times a week. I got a lot of things to do. I'm going to have to get going. But I do feel good. Some new people got in, yeah, everybody I'm not going to be able to get to is a regular caller contributor. I feel comfortable with that. All I have to say is this is a group of low IQ perverts, but I'm just glad there are low IQ perverts. I'm not going to lie, dude. It's a little fried, man. I was trying my best, dude. But like, I don't have the brain power for a lot of math. It's the only subject I've ever got to be in. I'm still devastated over it. And I just can't, I don't have the brain for math stuff. I just don't. That's what an iPhone's for, bro. There's no math I ever need in my life. I can't type in the iPhone. So I just, God bless you guys. Low IQ perverts, man. If that's my lot in life, I'll take it. Damn it. I'll take it. I love you guys. This is, you never know what you're going to get. But man, this is a group of degenerates I love. You guys are the best. I'll see you on Patreon.